Some daiquiri.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's like, I know. But we're not in production right now, so it's a little quieter.
Yeah.
Probably. Hi!
Hi!
Okay.
Welcome to the Boozy Babes. I'm Prairie Rose from Bit by a Fox.
And I'm Emily Arden Wells from Gastronomista, and we're here with Bridget Fertile of the Noble Experiment, and she makes Oni's rum.
Yeah.
And Bridget's going to take us through her awesome facility here in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and teach us a little bit about how to make rum and rummy cocktails.
Yeah. So welcome to the distillery. Yeah. Awesome. I'd love to talk to you guys about why Oni's rum is different from any other rum you've ever tasted. And
Mostly because you make it,
yeah,
right? You make it
so
right here.
Literally, it's made 100% by hand from start to finish. We're the first rum distillery in New York in 92 years.
That's amazing.
So we're pretty proud of that.
So
And
since Prohibition, basically.
there were a few, I think there were a few rum distilleries in different areas. I'm not really sure about
Okay.
the...
But 92 years
Yeah,
is a long
92
time.
years is a long time.
Okay.
Someone calculated
Yeah,
that. And
that's
rum was
amazing.
actually America's first spirit, and it was first distilled in New York City, on present-day Staten Island in the 1660s.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and you're a New York girl, too.
Yeah,
You're
born
from-
and raised. born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens.
Brooklyn! So this is your distillery.
Yeah.
This is where all the rum gets made. So
All
what
the
are
rum.
these big barrels here?
Yeah,
that we're
so
looking
these are our
at?
fermentation tanks. The process kind of goes in a U shape.
Okay.
And,
So it starts there.
starts here. This is where we mix our ingredients. So
Okay.
there are only 3 ingredients in Oni's. No sugar, artificial flavors, colorings, or anything used in the production of our product. It's basically similar to farm-to-table movement. We source the best ingredients we can and actually think about how to produce them.
So when
to
you
get
say
them-
no sugar, there's molasses because you have to have molasses for rum,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So that's confusing. So
Yeah, that's a good point. So we make our rum from a sugarcane molasses that we get from Florida and Louisiana, but we use that as a feedstock to get alcohol, and then at the end of fermentation, we just distill the alcohol out during our distillation process.
okay.
So
And
there's
you don't
really
add
no
anything.
sugar, and there's no sugar added back.
Because
We're a
some
lot-
companies will add in sugar, and that's what makes it super sweet.
Yeah, we're here at the Noble Experiment in Brooklyn, New York, in the Bushwick neighborhood.
So if anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in and we'll answer them for you. If you have any questions about rum, how to make rum, how Bridget got started making rum, or cocktails or anything, just let us know.
Our question was All-American Cane. Is it All-American Cane?
It is from Florida and Louisiana.
So what is that big thing? People probably come in here and like, is this where all the magic happens?
This is definitely where all the magic
I'd say
happens.
if we were cribs.
This is where the magic happens.
This is Cleo. That's her name.
You
Please refer
named
to
her.
her.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
So bossy.
She's
Yeah.
really pretty.
She's a curvy lady.
Yeah, she is.
It's pretty sexy. Like these kind of like stills, I think, are so gorgeous.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
And this is from Germany.
It's from Germany. It was custom made to actually produce what we wanted to do with our rum. So it's kind of combines traditional distillation techniques and modern techniques. So we've got traditional pot still here in the middle, and then we've got a column here. So it's a pot column hybrid, and it gives us a lot of flexibility in our production process and also helps us to attain a really flavorful, interesting, full of character
Yeah.
distillate, but very palatable in an unaged form. So
Yeah.
it's
Rum spicy, people want to know.
no, it's actually kind of smoky. So that's one of the unique features of it. It's one of the flavors we get from our fermentation. That, in addition to tropical fruits, bananas, things of that nature.
Great for a
It's
tiki
so
drink.
tasty.
Yeah.
We're
Like
longtime
daiquiri.
fans.
Yes,
of
yes,
Oni's
yes.
rum.
I've known you guys for a long time
Been here
now.
anytime.
So we're big
How
fans.
long does it take to make one bottle?
Yeah, so it takes.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
That is good.
it takes about 7 days. So
wow,
we have
to make one bottle.
So from the molasses into
Well, I don't know. We make,
You make
batches
bottles.
at a time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
technically, I guess it could be one bottle.
Right.
It takes about 7 to 8 days to make one batch, which is
Okay.
about 30 cases or about 180 bottles.
Okay. So in terms of like other spirits, like if you're making whiskey, for instance, where it needs to age, rum's pretty like as soon as you're done.
Yeah, rum is actually one of the...
not aged.
Totally. You can make rum in a variety of ways. It's one of the most interesting things about the category. It's also one of the most confusing things for consumers, unfortunately. Yeah. It's made in 40 different parts, or 70 different parts of the world, actually, in 70 different ways. And so there's no real strict definition on how to make rum, aside from it needing to be coming from the sugarcane plant.
Right.
So we actually have a totally unique style here.
Yeah.
You do New York rum.
Exactly.
Brooklyn rum.
Brooklyn
Exactly.
rum.
Come to be called the Noble Experiment.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I was really, really inspired by the Prohibition era, because the house I grew up in Queens was built in 1911 and actually housed a speakeasy that was active during Prohibition.
That's
And
amazing.
in the basement,
So
trap
cool.
side door, the whole 9 yards.
That's
have a
so
ton
cool.
of childhood and young adult memories there. So
Young adult memory. Inspired drinking, I can see.
yeah.
We won't tell your mom.
Exactly. But long story short, it led me to reading a lot about Prohibition, and I came upon this term called the Noble Experiment, which was actually the government's nickname for Prohibition. In a way, they got people on board with, the propaganda and getting it enacted.
And this was your Noble Experiment.
My own Noble Experiment. We're happy the Noble Experiment failed, actually, the original one, so we can be here making and drinking booze.
This is a much more nobler.
Yeah.
I think it's a great name.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
Oni's,
Yeah,
the name for Oni's rum has
Exactly.
that Prohibition history too, right?
Totally. So I was, again, doing some reading. I come across this guy, Owen Madden, who was nicknamed Oni, and he really struck a chord with me for a variety of reasons. He was basically a gangster that was born in London, came here as a child, settled in Hell's Kitchen, a neighborhood in Manhattan, became a leader of the Gopher Gang, which was this really silly name for a gang, but violent.
Gopher Gang sounds so innocent.
Exactly. But he actually, when Prohibition was enacted, he bought the Cotton Club, which is a notorious, Harlem speakeasy.
Yeah.
He was, had interest in a variety of speakeasies, but really most endearing to me, he was a rum runner. And he had an estate in my neighborhood in Queens, which is called Rockaway Beach, and it's right on the Atlantic Ocean. And so a lot of rum was smuggled all up and down Long Island and Rockaway, and he had a huge estate in my hometown where he basically got a lot of rum shipped into his estate and pushed out through speakeasies throughout New York and the whole eastern seaboard.
In your basement.
Exactly.
In your basement.
And I like to fantasize that he drank in my basement.
You probably did.
People want to know what you can mix it with, and will we be able to see the rum?
Yes, and yes.
Let's go
Well,
see the rum.
That's a great question. It leads us to our next thing. We're going to go make some daiquiris. So we're leaving the distillery now, and we're going into the DAC Shack, which is now attached to the distillery here in Bushwick, Brooklyn. And this is a fairly new space for you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a bar here, and it's like an event space. And it's beautiful. I've been to a few things here, and it's so gorgeous. But
the bar is actually only 3 months old, so we've been here operating for about 3 years, but the bar itself is about 3 months old. And here we are. And it functions as a bar Thursdays through Sundays, and as a private event space or a public event space other days of the week.
It's so great. So you're going to get back there and you're going to make us some daiquiris,
Yes, I
right?
will.
So for those of you who are interested, this is what Oni's rum looks like. These are all the bottles.
They're beautiful bottles.
Yes,
You're
they're
going to have to tell us a
beautiful.
little
They're
bit about the bottles themselves and how you pick the shape and the label. They're so gorgeous. This is like the graphics in these bottles. I feel like these are some of one of my favorite bottles on the market right now.
Oh,
I mean, I love what's inside too, but
It is delicious.
it's very
rum.
stylish. So so how did you come up with the bottle shape? I know that's kind of a thing. Is there like a rum bottle shape that you have to kind of stick to? Like, is there guidelines for that?
No, actually. So I was basically worked with a good friend of mine on designing the entire look of everything. So the label, the bottle itself, we basically, I think, looked at every single bottle on the shelf in existence in the world.
Oh my God. That's
And it took about 6 months, and it led inspiration, and then we worked directly with the bottle manufacturer to finalize and custom, shape.
Wow.
So that's our bottle now, and we own the
Yeah.
trademark to it. So.
Wow. So then tell us what you're making here. You're making a daiquiri.
Yes, I am.
So this is one of my favorite cocktails of all time.
A daiquiri?
Yeah, daiquiri. I think because
That's
it's such a
the
simple
original recipe is
cocktail.
so good.
I mean, it's
Exactly. I think that
It's
one of
only
our
3
missions
ingredients.
is to free the daiquiri from the blender, so to speak.
yes. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's great. You need to trademark that.
Yeah.
You need T-shirts.
Exactly.
Yes. Free the daiquiri.
Where can they get your rum? Is it sold in stores, and is it just light, or is there dark?
There's just light. It's just light rum. And yes, it is sold in stores. If you go to Oni's website, which is OWNEYS.com, there's a store locator there. And you can find a store closest to you. We're actually distributed in about 10 other states outside of New York as well.
But here in New York City, you can get it at Astor.
Yes, Astor.
And, I've seen it in my local.
We have 400 different points of distribution, so it's
Wow.
Yeah.
Good work,
So
lady.
do you have? I know that you were in London for recently, and is there plans to have international distribution for
Yep.
Oni's?
So we are distributed in the UK and Norway, as well as Singapore
wow.
and Hong Kong.
Okay.
That's
So that's
awesome.
great because I know that there are some international viewers too. So just
Yeah.
in case.
So I'm just finishing up these daiquiris. Actually, I didn't mention what was actually in the
Yeah,
let's
daiquiri.
talk about
What's your
that.
recipe for a perfect daiquiri?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so a classic daiquiri is simply 3 things: rum, lime, and sugar.
So good.
And
So
3
simple.
ingredients.
and every bartender has their favorite specs, and
Yeah.
obviously whatever rum you use and whatever sugar source you use, it kind of affects the flavor.
Now, what kind of sugar is this like Demerara sugar?
This is cane syrup.
Okay,
Cane syrup.
so this is a little
that's
darker.
Yeah.
So you could use cane syrup or like another sweetener. You could
Yeah,
use like
simple-
agave
simple
or simple syrup.
If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask while she's shaking away. Shake it, girl. Shake it. Shake it.
Woohoo!
Why did you focus on light rum?
Great question, actually. I think that there's I think that,
They're having a party back
yeah,
there.
they are having a party back
They're
there,
having a
and
good
it's
time.
distracting.
They're definitely drinking daiquiri. They're ready for the night.
Sorry. So the reason I chose to make white rum is because I think that there's a lack of really awesome white rums on the market, ones that actually taste awesome, really good and are complex. I also think a lot of people know what sugar and artificial flavors taste like, and they also know what wood tastes like. So I wanted to create a distillate that really was totally
Pure.
free of all of those things.
Oh my God, I'm
awesome.
so excited.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for the great tour, Bridget.
Oh, thanks for coming. This is awesome.
I can't believe we're not out of time yet, are we? Because I feel like we have
I think we
so
are.
much to talk
I
about.
know, there's still so much.
Oh,
Maybe we have to do an
Well,
after
How
show.
does it taste? People?
oh my
It's
gosh.
delicious. It's creamy, refreshing.
This is a perfect daiquiri.
So nice.
It's fresh. You don't taste. All of the flavors are clear, but
crisp.
intertwines. It's a
beautiful way.
beautiful cocktail.
I love that you can really get the flavors from the rum itself in this cocktail. It doesn't get masked behind
Really?
any other ingredients. You can get those banana and the pineapple and all the,
It's a very
the flavors
tropical,
of the rum itself.
A very tropical white rum.
It's like it's
Totally.
not cold and rainy outside.
I know.
We're
I
on
love
an island.
Exactly, and that's like every day of my life, which is pretty
That's
awesome.
a pretty great thing. It's like vacation in a glass.
Exactly, and honestly, if there are people watching out there that have never had a classic daiquiri before,
Oh my God, do it.
Please go out. All you need is a lime and some sugar. You can make it
so
at home
easy.
really easy.
And
So,
Oni's rum.
For those of you who are just tuning in, we're here at the Noble Experiment with Bridget Fertile of Oni's Rum. And if you like rum and daiquiris, feel free to restream, share with your friends, spread the love. And I think on that note, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you
Cheers,
so much.
guys. No, thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Bridget, for the wonderful tour. And thanks for these delicious cocktails.
Yay.
Cheers.
Cheers.